If you are still looking for a great deal on a house, well, the prices may not have hit bottom, rock bottom that is, especially on the luxury market. Here to help us out with all that is AnnaMaria Andriotis from Smart Money. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. And so the numbers out here don't suggest that we've hit the bottom on prices. Tell us about these numbers that were out this morning.
Today, S&P Case-Shiller Index came out showing that home prices are still dropping in most parts of the country. Prices are now down to 2006 levels. And what it's also showing is that during the last 6 months of 2011, price declines are really picked up when it came to the expensive homes in the country. What we saw was a stabilization of sorts on the lower end, where the lower priced homes, the prices in many areas just stopped falling, whereas the price declines really intensified on the expensive homes.
Now, is the catalyst for that simply because on the lower price houses, those folks just got hit harder first? I mean, these were the people who were less likely to have a lot of savings, probably went into foreclosure faster. If you're wealthy, you may have been able to ride it out if you've been having troubles, but maybe not so much anymore.
It's no question that the lower price homes have been hit the hardest to date. The prices there have dropped the most. A lot of that has to do with the fact, as you said, that the higher income people, those people who live in the larger homes, the more expensive homes, many did have savings that they could tap into, retirement accounts as well, or some assets like jewelry or even cars to sell during difficult times. So those people who found themselves unemployed or with pay cuts and had these mortgages on these expensive homes to pay, they had some sort of cushion in many cases to sort of ride the storm. And now analysts are saying that given that the economy is still fairly weak, that employment isn't all that much better right now, that cushion could be coming to an end for many of those homeowners.
Now, in terms of folks looking to buy at this sort of high end of the price spectrum of a house, what's happening in terms of them getting financing? Because I know there's been some shifts in the cap in which you can get a jumbo mortgage. Walk us through that a little bit.
So the jumbo loan amounts have changed. They changed last year, at least with the jumbo loans that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac provide. Those limits have dropped by about $100,000. So last year the limit was up to about $729,000, and now we're at around $625,000 as the limit. So the problem here is that for people who are in the market and looking to buy an expensive home, there's a question of whether they'll be able to get financing. Yes, they can turn to the private market where those larger loans are available, but interest rates are higher, and there's a question of whether they want to pay those higher interest rates, and also the higher the interest, the less of a loan you can technically afford, because that monthly payment does get bigger. So there's a concern right now that for those individuals putting these expensive homes on the market, people looking to buy them with financing might not either be able to get it or not want to get the terms that are out there right now.
Of course, the rates, though, in general are still pretty much at historic lows in many cases.
They are still low, but when it comes to the private market, you're looking at rates that in some cases can be significantly higher, potentially with some lenders 6% or more, depending on the size of the loan.
Interesting. Of course, you flash back to when my parents were doing their home. They're thinking 6%, that's still so good. Well, this is a long time ago, of course. Now, in terms of where this is happening in the market, I mean, are we seeing any regional differences, or is this across the board that we're seeing the luxury home prices fall?
Well, there are some cities right now that do stand out. Where we're seeing this is in Minneapolis and Chicago and Boston. We're seeing that home prices for the expensive neighborhoods have been falling during the last 6 months, at least, of 2011. And those are also markets where the prices in the lower end of those neighborhoods have actually started to rise during the last 6 months. Again, we saw sort of an inverse relationship take place there. Of course, this isn't happening yet in all parts of the housing market throughout the country, but the data is showing that for the most part, higher priced homes are having difficulty holding on in terms of price stability.